Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we just got released a few hours ago the patch notes for update 1.0.24 titled Frozen Fury. Now, as always, we're going to give you a full patch notes breakdown. We'll read through everything. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions, and of course, would love to hear from you on anything that stands out or maybe you're a little iffy on in those comments down below. As always, remember, if you enjoy the content, make sure you so that way this can get out to that a lot more. Let's dive right in. So we know that the update is going to be taking place on the 11th of April. That's 8 days, maybe a little bit less than 8 days from now. Let's get into number 1. Season B2 Frozen Fury is coming. After completing Season T1, players will begin a whole new season. Okay, so essentially they're indicating that this is going to be Season 2 plus, if that's right. So we're not getting Season 3 right away. I thought I saw some people talking about this in the Gen Chat on the CoD Discord yesterday as well. And so now we have 1-1, brand new season policies allowing you to formulate your own unique strategy. Interesting. You know, I've always thought that it would be pretty cool if you had like an option to like pick from 2 or 3 different ones, right? Where it's like, you know, you get to a certain column and you choose one, but then it maybe has options for like 2 or 3 different ones, almost kind of like you're playing this Mass Effect, like each decision eliminates other roads, but then it gives you, you know, a certain amount that you can still go from. Again, who knows if that would even be good or not, just a random thought. But again, if we're getting new policies, and again, I would almost be nice to see how they're going to change that or if they give us a little more indication here. Then we get to 1-2. Season talents are back. Whether you want to focus on melee attacks, range combat, or building an impenetrable defense, all new paths to Battlefield Supremacy await you in the new season. Oh, interesting. So they're going to be either maybe refreshing the season talents, is coming out with some new ones, maybe changing some of these. And like, I'm actually okay with season talents being a standard, right? This is something that we saw in Infinity Kingdom that they had with, I think they called them Lord talents from what I can remember. And I like this. I think it just allows for another area to engage and interact in that allows for the players themselves to customize their playing experience. Then we get to number 2, Smoother Route to Prosperity. So we have new heroes coming. Added the legendary hero Zeta, Marksman PvP Mobility. Okay, so we're going to see more Marksman heroes available from the Lucky Spin Wheel of Destiny. Okay, unfortunate, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, sadly. Added the legendary hero Magret, Marksman Garrison Precision. Okay, so we're getting a Garrison Marksman now. Okay. Available in the Wheel of Destiny and Strongest Lords events. Okay, I mean, unfortunate, but, you know, what can I say? And I say unfortunate because, as you've heard me talk about before, my view, and I need to put this out for a suggestion, my view on this is that if you want to have a great balanced game that is very free-to-play friendly, if you're releasing heroes, if you're releasing heroes that either are going to cost premium currency, or, and as we all know, when you compete in Strongest Lord events, it basically is a spender event. Let's just call it what it is. By saying that, what it means is that the players with the highest percentage chance to consistently place in the, geez, I'm always forgetting what the number is right now, but the top 20 or however, whatever the top position is, in order to get the minimum amount of heads to unlock the hero in SLE are usually going to be spenders, right? And so my view on this is that if you want to release heroes that you have to spend to unlock, or you have to use premium currency, i.e. gems, to unlock, nothing wrong with that. But after a period of time, they should then be added, not removed from being able to spend, right, and do everything you can do right now with the events that you can participate in to get them. But they should be added in addition to how they currently are being released to the tavern, to gold chests, right? So let's say these 2 heroes are released, right? They come out April 11th. Okay, well, let's say 3 months from now, they'll get added to the gold chests. I don't see anything wrong with that, because people could still spend. They could still get them at events, which they still will, but eventually they'll be added as a way for free-to-play to get them. To me, personally, I think it's the best of both worlds. I'd love to know what you think. And again, do you think 3 months is appropriate? Do you think maybe it should be 2 months, 1 month? Do you think it should be more? Let me know. 2-2. New artifacts. Added the legendary artifact Gilded Crossbow, Marksman PvP Assault. Okay, so I like the theme, kind of it's like Marksman. I'm okay with this. Available from the Forge of Light and Riches of the Forest. events. Okay. I still feel like the same thing, right? These eventually should just be added to the artifact compendium, right, where you can pull these there after a period of time. I think the same thing, right, for artifacts, similarly to how we talked about heroes. Improved Warpet training process and features. You can now upgrade the star ratings of your Warpet skills by consuming skill cards. Oh, I like this. This applies both, and I think they alluded to this in the future update video. This applies to both talent skills and common skills. I love that. You can obtain talent skill cards by releasing Warpets. I wonder if this is now just basically like more consistent. Each time you release a Warpet, you'll receive a skill card for one of that Warpet's skills. Oh, that's nice. If the Warpet has no skills, you'll receive a random item. Okay, I like this. I think these are nice improvements. You no longer have to spend skill cards to unlock Warpet skills' existing slots. Thank you, but Jesus. I'm a fan of that, right? Because I just think they should, I mean, to me, I just feel like they should just already all be unlocked. I don't think you should have to grind to unlock them, in my opinion. Just because there's already a big grind element to the Warpets as it stands. Warpets themselves no longer need to be upgraded. However, you can re-roll your Warpets attributes through regeneration. I'm somewhat iffy on that. I actually kind of, even though let me be clear here, right? I'm only really watching Warpets through others vicariously, I might add. The idea of leveling up your Warpet, I guess, almost is akin to leveling up your Pokemon. I just don't see an issue with that. However, from those of you that clearly use Warpets more than I don't at the moment, I'd love to hear, right? Is this like you were calling for this, or is it more of, this is just kind of okay, right? Let me know. Added an auto regeneration feature, saving you time and effort. Okay, I actually think that's nice. At least if it reduces time or improves some quality of life on the Warpet as far as when it comes to re-rolling. There is no longer an option. Geez, I think of a lot of stuff here for Warpets. Jeez. There is no longer an option to attack beasts. You can now capture Warpets by dragging your Legion to them. Oh. Huh. I thought the whole point was to attack them, then you capture them. So now it's like, it's more of, we're throwing the Pokeball at them, which is our Legion? Is that right? Okay. I mean, if I'm reading this right and they're like removing that animation, I feel like that maybe is a little bit of a loss and maybe not in a good direction. Okay. Improved information display for Warpet training. You can now see recommended skills for your Warpet on the skills page and see previews of effects for upgraded Warpet skills through information displayed in the tail section. Okay, I'm actually a fan of that, where if you could see previews for effects for upgraded Warpet skills, I'm always a fan of being able to see like ahead of, hey, if I'm going to do this, how does that change that? And maybe you can compare that against other pets, with other skills. You can purchase a limited number of 1-star Warpet skills at the pet exchange. Make sure to plan your purchases carefully. Okay. Expanded capacity for Warpet skill cards, allowing you to better plan your Warpet's training process. Okay, that actually sounds like nice. You can now obtain books of taming through the Warpet gift draw page. Oh, interesting. You will no longer obtain pet tokens by petting your Warpet. However, you can obtain more pet tokens by cleaning up your pet. Oh, I like how they're allowing you to do a little bit more kind of like micro, like mini game type things. The amount of pet tokens you can receive from your pet sanctuary each day remains unchanged. Okay. Increased the number. And so I want to say, I like that. I like how they're like creating actions for you to do in game that will allow for you to spend more time in game, but also reap some rewards from doing those. I'm a fan of that, right? It's almost like this idea of being able to like go in and like, let's say you're someone who like works janitorial and you're cleaning up a building, right? Or you're having to go in and clean a building, right? You know, you're going to do all these things, but it's like, wouldn't it be cool if you were rewarded for like each of the tasks that you did, right? And that's, again, maybe somewhat of an example that I just thought of. Hopefully that translates. Increased the number of slots in your pet enclosure. You can now start with 5 more slots. 15 more slots cannot be unlocked by using items. Okay, nice. A fan of that. Number 3. Ooh, where's the spacing here? Unfortunate. Gosh, just hurts my feelings. I'm just joking. Not really. An even richer combat experience. I want to point out, right, the Warpet stuff, this is like an overhaul to Warpets. And based on what I'm familiar with, this seems like it is a net positive win. For those of you that use Warpets a lot, I would love to hear from you. Do you take this as a win? Or some of these you're iffy on? Or no, you're really a fan of mostly everything, if not everything that's being released right now? Or I should say at least excited to try it out. Let me know. Okay, an even richer combat experience. 3-1. Adjusted rules for deducting command points. CP will only be deducted upon successfully defeating enemy units. If you fail to defeat the enemy, no CP will be deducted. You will receive no rewards. Interesting. So are they doing this so people can't go negative, essentially? Because I know people can go like up to negative 1,000 or 1,500, whatever the number is, through other means. So I'm curious if this is something that they're aiming to fix. If so, I wish they would have called that out and stated that specifically, or stated what they were seeing and why they made the adjustment. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But okay. Upon entering battle, AoE skills will no longer deal damage to dark forces who are not in combat with you, preventing you from accidentally targeting units outside of combat. This, to me, is a win. This is something that people... So, and let me point out, I could really care less as far as like if it does or if it doesn't, right? Because if it doesn't, at least you're being consistent, right? That's the most important thing. You're not flipping and going back and forth. If you're saying that this is the way it is, this is the way it's always going to be, no problem with that, right? But I like the fact that this is something the community has been asking for, and they're addressing it, right? So +1 community, if you will. And I guess +2 if you really count the Warpet stuff too. But okay, awesome stuff. No, this is good so far. Absolutely love this. Number 3, 3-3, improve simple mode. Added a button to enable and disable simple mode in settings. I'm a fan of this because there really wasn't one to toggle. So you go settings general, significantly improve frame rate for simple mode displays, making intense combat situations smoother. Okay, this is what we've been asking for. This is what your boy has been hoping for. Look at this, added simple mode for PC. I mean, oh my God, just what is happening right now? Thank you, bejesus. In the middle of intense battles, a pop-up will appear, allowing you to enable simple mode. I'm a fan. Reducing the amount of unit information shown on screen, making your view less cluttered. I can't wait for this update. I mean, this update so far is seeming really good. Again, maybe 1 or 2 things so far that we are iffy about. And as always, right, you guys know me, I love seeing a lot of details in the patch notes. We'll have to see what the remainder of the patch notes has. But so far, it's looking good. Okay, 3-4. In the interest of balance, the following changes have been made to talents and skills. Okay, let's see how they do these. Improved infantry units' PvP abilities, allowing them to more effectively respond to ranged attacks. Interesting. The infantry unit skills Swordsman Counterattack, Axeman Counterattack, and Ironbark Trent's Counterattack have been changed to Swordsman Alertness. I mean, I'll be honest, I have no problem with the counterattack thing. I think it's very clear. Axeman Alertness and Ironbark Trent's Alertness. Previously, Swordsman, Axeman, and Ironbark Trents can launch a counterattack when attacked by ranged units, but deal half their counterattack damage. Now, can launch counterattacks when attacked by ranged units, but can only deal 50% counterattack damage. They also have a 50% chance to gain 1 stack of Ironclad. Each stack of Ironclad reduces reduces by 5% for 15 seconds, maxes 8 stacks. This effect can be triggered by the same enemy legion once every 18 seconds. Interesting. So they're basically just making infantry tankier. Yeah. So I see what they're doing, and I see why they're doing it. My thing overall is that I would love to see like a true counterplay. Like, it's so simple to me. You have a triangle, right? Or whatever this is. And so I guess it's like this. And it's like cavalry crushes archers and mages, right? Infantry crushes cavalry. Archers and mages crush infantry, right? And then you have celestials, which again, you could work in that if you want to consider them ranged as well, so to speak. It's just this idea that, like, if you have more hard counters, so to speak, right, then you allow every unit to have value, equal value, right, to another, because there's an immediate counter to them. Like a hard counter, so to speak. And it doesn't just become, oh, let's just all run ranged mage, or let's all run ranged archers, even though it very much has been a mage meta since basically the inception of the game, right? There really hasn't been something where you're seeing a large number. And even though like I said, I see where they're going with this, and I don't necessarily think this is a bad change. I just don't think this change is really addressing the root of the challenges, which is it's really combined, right? Like, one, you need to have an open enough map that allows for multiple units to shine, right? And by having direct counters in some kind of a triangle or a square type of system, the opportunity is what we're talking about, the potential of where you can have every unit having equal value and has usage. That's really what I would almost love to see, right? To where you can see the same number of Cavs, the same number of Celestials, the same number of Mages, or if everyone's running Mages, okay, right? Then you run, then you're running, like all Cav, right? And you're just crushing them, like to a point where it forces you to have to build other units, right? That's the idea of the system. It not only does every unit have the opportunity to be equally represented, but it almost at times forces you to have diversity in your units, right? So it isn't just kind of one unit over another, two units over another, as we've mostly been seeing. And so, like I said, I understand and I can grasp where they're coming from with this, because they'd like to try and see more infantry out in the field. I just don't know if this is the right change, like, to make that kind of thing happen, so to speak. To me, it's almost as simple as just buffing the effectiveness, right? So it's like increasing the damage dealt and reduce damage taken, right? For the advantages and disadvantages that you have, or buffs and nerfs, right, against as you go up against your counter unit, right, or a unit that you counter. So yeah, those are my thoughts. I'd love to hear what you guys think on that. But okay, I mean, again, I'm not particularly mad against this. I mean, I think it does allow infantry to shine a little bit more, at least when it comes to being a little more tanky and lasting a little bit longer in the fights. So we'll see. Adjusted offensive talent Intrepid. Previously, when casting rage skills, your Legion gains normal attack focus, increasing their normal attack crit rate by 1% for 5 seconds. Now, when your Legion launches a normal attack, they have a 100% chance to gain normal attack focus. Oh, wow. Oh, I don't get that. Increasing their normal attack crit rate by 8% for 5 seconds. This is triggered once every 8 seconds. Wow. Okay, so this is basically a buff. Okay, all right. More crit. Adjusted, what's the next one now? Just a gathering talent, joyful labor. Oh, interesting. When your Legion is hit with a normal attack while gathering, they have a 20% chance to become invulnerable and take no damage for 10 to 10 seconds. Min max, the effect can be triggered once every 30 minutes. Now, when your Transport Legion is hit with a normal attack while gathering, they have a 20 to 100% chance to become invulnerable and take no damage for the next 10 seconds. While invulnerable, they cannot launch normal attacks or counterattacks. The effect can be triggered once every 60 seconds. I'm actually a fan of this. I am. I'm not against this at all. The only thing for me, and this is just, I will always have this consistent stance on this one, is that, right, you just shouldn't be gathering in the war zone. Like, to me, it's not to say that you can't. I'm saying you shouldn't. And that's just because when you're in an active war zone, right, one part of strategy is you go and you hunt farmers. Right, and that's always going to be something. I don't see something in the future where that's not going to happen, or it's not going to be a thing. So because of that, I mean, yeah, do I still like the change overall, that it's going from essentially having low percentage to then being 100% chance of just always hitting once you get it to that point? Yeah, I don't think that this is a bad change at all. I actually do favor. I like the change a little bit more than I'm against it, so to speak. Adjusted ice turret skill. Frost Arrow previously deals damage to the target Legion, reduces their march speed, and inflicts 1 stack of Snowstorm. Magic 1200 factor, march speed negative 20%. When Snowstorm reaches 3 stacks, the Legion is immobilized, cannot move for 3 seconds. Legions can only be immobilized by Snowstorm once every 30 seconds. Now it deals diffuse damage to the target and 2 nearby Legions and inflicts freeze for 3 seconds. Interesting. So now it's basically more AoE, or it is AoE, right? Because it was saying to target Legion, now it's to the target and 2 by, so now it's 3. So it was 1, now it's 3. And then march speed for 3 seconds. freeze for 3 seconds. That's consistent with what we saw right here. Oh no, this is cannot move, but this is inflicts freeze. Okay, freeze. March speed is -5 to -30%. So now it's going more, right? 20 is the 4th tier, and now you have 2 more tiers beyond that. So now the slow's a little bit more. Damage type, so it's being reduced though. Factor's now 1,000 instead of 1,200, but I still think overall damage is still going to be a lot more with the AoE change now. And then we have adjusted season talent skill, Cavalry Guard. This change will take effect in Season T1 and Season B2. After the update, the Season Talent Reset cooldown will be set to 0 for all players who have already activated their Season Talent system. Okay. Previously, when your cavalry units launch an unyielding rush at their targets, rush speed and range is increased by 50%. Now, when your cavalry units launch an unyielding rush at the target unit, rush speed is increased by 20%. Oh, wow. Each time your cavalry units successfully rush a ranged unit, their attack is raised by 2.5%, max 10% for 10 minutes. Timer resets each time effect is... Okay, this is what I'm talking about, right? This, to me, is a good change. Again, I still would rather just see them do, like, flat rate buffs, right? Where it's percentage buff on, like, attack. So it's increased damage dealt when you're attacking the unit that you counter, and then reduce damage taken when you're attacking the unit that you counter, right? So it's just so obvious where you don't really need to make these kinds of changes, so to speak. Well, maybe I shouldn't say don't need to make these changes, but almost like doing that first and then kind of seeing how it plays. Now, as far as the rush aspect, I actually like this type of effect, right when you're attacking units that you're strong against, where it's almost like, you're kind of like the Rohirrim, so to speak, and you're just excited to charge, these archer units. Like, it's almost like it kind of boosts morale. Like, I can kind of make that out. I can somewhat understand that. But do I like the change for Cav, at least as it pertains to, like, for example, I like how they specifically have, like, this to me I think is a good change, where they specifically have something mentioned against ranged units, right, which you would assume Cav counters that. Not that infantry counters that. So that's why, like, this change to me makes a lot more sense, right, despite what I've said previously. So this is actually nice. I think Cav is, I'm hoping we get to see a lot more Cav in the battlefield. Okay, improved Behemoth combat. Behemoth raids at normal difficulty no longer have participant limits. I'm a fan of that. I think that's a big W. People have been asking for that for a while. Improved information, which again, they're listening to the community. That's a win for me, or I should say a win for us and them. Improved information display for Behemoth raids. Damage taken and healing received will now be displayed. Okay, nice quality of life. I'm a fan of that. Allowing you to better evaluate your own combat performance. Okay, I mean, that's great. These are the kinds of things that we've been asking for. This is actually a really good update so far. I'm very impressed. Improved display for Behemoth summons. Summons will no longer interfere with your actions. Okay, fan of that. Adjusted, dude, this is a long number 3 if we're still on number 3. Adjusted difficulty for certain Dragon Trail stages. Additionally, Legion overviews will be displayed on the right-hand side of the Dragon Trail screen. Okay, quality of life, fan of that. Oh, now we get to number 7, other improvements. Oh, so I'm almost done here. Oh no, we're not. This is just, this is other improvements within number 3. Oh, this is such a big update, oh my gosh. Okay. Fixed a text error regarding cooldown for the cavalry skill Unyielding Rush. Previously, march speed increases when approaching the target legion. After colliding with a ranged unit, the hero commanding this legion gains 1,000 rage. Legions cannot be intercepted while charging. This effect can be triggered once every 12 seconds. Now, the march speed increases when approaching the target legion. After colliding with a ranged legion, the hero commanding legion gains 1,000 rage. Legions cannot be intercepted. This effect can be triggered, so it's 10 seconds, not 12. Okay. Fixed an issue with Craig's fragmentation bolt skill, where it would occasionally fail to deal physical damage to Darkling Legions and Dark Creatures. Okay, I like that they address the change fixes. I'm a fan of that. Fixed an issue with the Sand Lizard talent skill, Stone Aura, where it would display incorrect values when strengthened by Hasty Stone Aura skill of 2 stars or higher. Improved the automatic marching order feature. It will now be enabled by default, making your deployed legions more dynamic in combat. You can manually disable this feature by going to Settings General. Okay, I like how they tell you, and then they also tell you how to toggle it off if you'd like. Improved descriptions and battle log, making combat process easier to understand. I'm a fan of that, man. If they improve battle log and how that can be viewed, at least with looking at certain things, I'm a fan. That's a W. We'll have to see what that means. Right, it'd be nice if they gave an example or two of what they're adding to it, but okay. Number 4, we're almost done. An improved alliance system. This isn't that much. Improve the alliance recommendation page. Alliances will be shown on the page even if their power requirement is higher than your current power, allowing you to understand the strength of each alliance, make plans to increase your power, and choose an alliance that suits you best. Okay, so nothing really big here. One thing I would love to see, and we're seeing this in other games. Like I've seen this in Age of Empires Mobile that we've been testing. I've also seen this in Grand Cross that they had as well, where like they had this ability for you to include your Discord icon on the Alliance page, and then you can put a link to that, and then everyone in the Alliance can go there. Personally, I would love for this to be made public because I think it's a great way to promote alliances within the game that also want to appear or appease, I don't know appease, but maybe are willing or have communities that they want to expand, right? They want to expand their alliance into more of a community. I think this is actually great ways to do that, right? And so to me, I'd love for them to add something like that. Number 5, other improvements. Added 8 emojis to the chat window, including popcorn, skeleton, and clown, as voted on by the community. Okay, that's cool. I like that. I like how they mentioned that it was voted on by the community, too. Added 20 dynamic emojis for heroes. Increase your hero's trust level to unlock these amazing new emojis. Okay, that's all I got. Make sure to leave feedback. Once this announcement is published, all players who provide feedback before the update goes live will receive a reward from the Merchants Guild within 5 days after the update comes online, so make sure you guys do that. Me and Drunky will be right by your side. Fantastic. Okay, so 26 minutes to cover all of that with some thoughts. In conclusion, this to me, I think, is a really good update. There are a couple things here that we mentioned throughout that I either would have loved to have some more details provided and or I'm iffy on, at least until we can see how they look once we get in game. But overall, I think there's a lot of really good changes. I think the Warpet overhaul, from what I've been hearing from other people and from what we've read, I think has a high chance to be well received. Again, for those that use Warpets more than me, I'd love to know what you guys think. Anything else that stands out, let me know as well. I'll be excited for once this drops on the 11th. And yeah, I think beyond this, though, which is the one thing I think is really on everyone's mind, is next update, when we get to 1.0.25. That's where it's expected that we're going to see the home kingdoms. We're going to see maybe get some more information on the cross-server migration, our cross-season migration, how that's going to work. Some of those other future plans when it comes to the new faction, etc. Right? I think that's really what we're most excited about, or I should say most looking forward to, right? But again, I think a lot of these things that they're doing right now are good, at least based on what they've addressed so far. So yeah, can't wait until it drops. As always, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later.